Everyone, welcome to Promise Resource Network. Today's class is Recovery 201, and what we're going to talk about is connectedness to self. Sound good? Before we get started, I wanted to tell you about our warm line. It's a 24/7, 365, any day of the year. You want to call us, we're here. We have peer support specialists that are manning those calls. So when you reach out to us, we'll be able to give you support. We'll be able to listen. We'll be able to hear you. We'll be able to help find whatever it is you need to find. Right? Quite oftentimes, it's just to be heard. So if you need to talk, if you need somebody to listen, if you want to share good news, not so good news, whatever, give us a call. The number is 833-390-7728. That's 833-390-7728. Aye. So connectedness to self-esteem. Dun, dun, dun. It says self-connection is the process of being in touch with our worthiness and wholeness of ourselves, regardless of the form of experience we're having. So, regardless of our feelings, thoughts, expectations, beliefs, or emotions, we are in tune with our worthiness and our wholeness. It sounds good, doesn't it? To be in tune with ourselves, to be in connection with the true me, the inner man, right? What is it? When you think of connection to self, what does that bring up in anybody?
Being connected to your emotions.
Being connected to our emotions, absolutely, absolutely. Those feelings we have, right? We're going to talk about that. You know, I got a list. I always got a list. Shit to do in case you don't know what to do. We got a list. So connected to self, it says so many of us go through life disconnected from our inner selves, looking for something or someone to complete us. Ah. When we draw our awareness deep inwards, we begin to feel supported, guided, and at peace. Like any relationship, the one we have with ourselves requires time and commitment to build. That makes sense, doesn't it? To get to know ourselves, it takes time and a commitment. I think, I don't know, that reawakening of ourselves, I keep saying connection, that that coming together of our whole person, body, mind, spirit.
The linking.
The what?
The
The
linking together of
linking. I
ourselves.
like that. The linking of ourselves. Cool. It says cultivating a healthy relationship with oneself takes a lifetime to master. Absolutely. We go deeper and deeper and we learn more and more about ourselves. Though we often speak negatively and critically of ourselves, we'll benefit more from quiet encouragement and a positive approach. So rather than, I don't know myself, I'm so bad, I can't do this, if only could go deeper, it's about quiet encouragement of ourselves, that quiet voice we have in us that lets us know that everything's going to be okay. So that quiet encouragement and positive approach are critical. So, some things we can do to help us connect or reconnect. I don't connect or reconnect. I don't know that I've ever been connected with myself. Truly. We
I've never
many of
thought about that concept until it's been brought up right now. I mean, I'm following it. It makes sense.
okay. The connection to self, absolutely.
I mean, I feel like it might be that it's always reconnecting because you're always changing throughout your life.
Ooh,
Your
nice.
personality change, your likes change, your tastes and food changes,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So I feel like it's mostly reconnecting throughout your life.
I agree. That is cool. It's that like they talk about the onion. You know, the closer
Layers.
we keep peeling back layers as we get closer to ourselves, right? Um, So the first thing we can do is check in with ourselves regularly, just to check in. How you doing, Sharon? What's going on? How you feeling? Um, I think that's important because I check in with everybody else, don't I? Hey, Alan, how you doing? Hey, Kenny, Rodney, Alex, Yavanka. How's everybody doing today? But I don't necessarily do that with myself. How am I doing today?
Good point.
Yesterday, I called my father, and he brought this up. He says, "How's your brother?" And I told him, I said, "Last conversation I had with you about my brother is why you asking about your brother? You don't give a damn about you." All right, that was fine. I was good with it.
Okay.
Then I mentioned to him uh, about how me and him came back in the life because he's a boy. He divorced my mom when I was like 6 years old.
Uh-huh.
All right, and I told him he didn't get back into my life until I was like 16. And the only way I got him back in my life is because my parents that was raising me, my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mom was there. But I tell him when they got so full of me, they would call you. And so since I noticed that that's how I get you over here, if I show out and everything. So that's how I figured out to get him to come over. I would show out so bad, they would call him up, he would come over, and he would have to talk or deal with me. Because I was confused about who I was.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see him to see how I identified me.
That's
Yeah,
perfect. That is beautiful, Rodney. We act in a way that draws attention to ourselves when we should be giving ourselves the most attention, right? And the way we bounce off other people, our my behavior gets me attention, right? The attention I seek the most is from myself because that's the deepest. The deepest is within me and my higher power. But that connectedness that we have with other people's reaction to us, right? How other people react to us, and how do we react to ourselves? Because I generally don't know how I'm doing until I show out, and I go, oh crap, I'm not doing that great, because
right,
I pay attention to the negative.
right. Just like Alex had said, I went through so many transformations in a period, you know, like the punk rock, rage, like my, yeah, all that stuff, And I thought that was me. Then, what I'm saying, I got back into rap because I started with rap and I started with R&B. I started with all this other stuff, I identify myself with myself. See?
And
So,
what I like,
yeah,
absolutely, absolutely, to identify what it is, what makes what makes me me,
right,
what makes me me, Alex.
I feel like one big thing too with being connected to yourself is it's not an official diagnosis, but everybody who has any mental health knows it. It's called Robin Williams syndrome, where you know you look out for everyone else first. You make sure everyone else is fine. You make everyone else laugh and bring joy to them, but you don't have that connection to yourself on a level to where you make sure you're okay too.
Absolutely.
Um, and also with that comes, most of the time people who say that they have it have been through some pretty severe trauma, And so the reason they respond that way around other people and try to help other people before themselves is because they don't want them to experience the same pain that they did.
The same thing, absolutely.
So I feel like that's a big thing too, with being connected with yourself enough to know the border of I can help this person this much before I need to help myself too.
Yeah, I think trauma has a big part in my not seeing myself. I
Yes.
see myself in a certain way, and as I said at the beginning, in wholeness, in worthiness, and I don't often see myself that way sometimes because of my past trauma, because of my experience in the past, right? So it separates us, and to become reconnected and reconnected and reconnected as we walk through these traumatic events, from our past. Um, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to begin to tap into ourselves. Who do we got on this morning? We got Kim. Good morning. We got Holly. Got Holly in the house. Good deal. So one thing we want to do is check on ourselves regularly. Just check in. Check in whenever you can to see, am I the most important today? If I'm the most important person today, then it's all right to check in with me, right? And when I put myself first, I'm better able to take care of others, right? Because then I know that I'm taken care of. Holly says grief and grace are twins, so to speak. Grief for fear can stop us from finding the grace within us to trust ourselves, move forward. This is part of our continued journey. You're exactly right. It's a continuous journey. We are always connecting and reconnecting to ourselves. Or I want to try to do that because I want to, like you said, I want to be able to help other people. And unless I am taking care of myself, that's not a possibility. Right? Another thing, find silence in ways to reconnect with ourselves. Find silence. We live in a world full of information, noise, and demands on our times and attention. When we jump off the merry-go-round for a while and get silent, we tune into our deeper self. I don't know. That noisiness, the busyness of business, social media can keep us from ourselves.
Society.
Absolutely. Society in general, the noise, the disruption, everything that's going on now in this world with COVID, with this rest, just so much going on. It's hard to find quiet sometimes. It's hard to find quiet. Um, I rarely have silence because I'm always listening to music, right? But I can see the need for silence, for that moment just to chill, just to relax for a minute, just to be aware of what's going on around me. Like we're doing here, that mindfulness, finding that silence, being in tune with ourselves at that moment, you know, and being able to handle those quiet moments when we're by ourselves. That could be tricky sometimes.
So you said depressed mode?
Okay, so find silence, be in the mindfulness. Another one is focusing on breath. Focusing on breath. We can do this anytime, anywhere. It's a great way to connect with ourselves throughout the day. Focusing on our breath helps ground us and draw us deeper into our deeper self. It says just focus on breathing by being aware of it. Just being aware of it. Then follow it as you inhale and exhale. Feel the rise of your chest as it fills up. Follow it all the way down to your belly and out again. You repeat as long as you feel necessary. Continue to repeat inhaling and exhaling. It's not a good idea not to. So, but focus on it. Just that that calmness that breath can bring, right?
Yeah. Like I was telling you, Sunday I had like went to Dollar Tree, bought some tilapia fish, came back because I had the area all clean and everything, and I had the bug repellent, right?
Uh-huh.
So I built a fire, fried some fish, and I just kind of just sat there to listen at the highway traffic. I just kind of like that, just sit there and listen to the animals going through the woods. It was kind of calming and
Yeah.
peaceful. I just, what I'm saying, didn't do nothing all that day. I didn't get out of that day until like, it was getting ready to get dark.
Yeah.
And I sat there all day. I mean, and rest, and just breathing,
Yeah.
just listening.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Just the calmness of
I don't got that now.
that, not
No, no.
but we can get back into
I
that.
hope so. I'm ready to
Yes.
get rid of that. Yeah, I ain't gonna talk.
So when we find that silence, it's critical. We focus on our breath. The next one is feel all our feelings.
What?
Feel all our feelings. When times get tough, we often push on and cover up how we feel in an attempt to hold things together. In doing so, we disconnect from our inner self as our feelings and emotions are telling us something. Let yourself feel all the feelings. Have the courage to sit with the difficult or uncomfortable emotions and fears. Be compassionate with yourself and tune into your breath to keep yourself grounded. Compassion for those feelings, all those feelings, right? Yes, Alex.
I know with me, I keep a lot of emotions from myself because my emotions are a floodgate.
Okay.
If I let some emotions out, all emotions come out. It's not it's not a controllable thing because of how many years of feelings I had to keep hidden
Yeah.
so that I could survive through trauma. And so it's like because of it being a coping mechanism and a you know flight or fight response for so long, you know, it's become now to where when I try to let any feelings out, it all comes out. And so it's just like extremely overwhelming.
Yeah. It
And
does.
so I feel like that also creates a disconnect between yourself because you're scared to let yourself feel because you know you're going to feel everything at once.
And that is scary, feeling everything at once. All those feelings flooding through us.
Yeah.
It is scary. I used to think if I start crying, I'd never stop. If I'd start raging, I'd never stop. That once I tapped into those feelings, they would just explode all around me. Yes, sir.
That's one problem or limitation, whatever that I have. I almost never shed tears. At times it just it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
and there have been times when it would have been the right thing for me to do. But the other day here we mentioned something. I made a comment, and I got choked up. I didn't shed tears, but it's so rare. I'm just it's so rare for me to come to tears, and yet that would be such a wonderful release.
When we tap into those feelings, and I don't know, I don't like to cry. Those of you that know me know that when it gets up to here, I start leaking. I don't cry. I'm too tough to cry. But when
Yeah,
I'm not aware of those feelings, and I'm not able to tap into that deepness,
into
the deepness of ourselves, right? When we let ourselves feel those feelings, as scary as they are, you know, just getting getting used to identifying feelings is hard, right? Because everything, fear for me feels like anger.
Fear feels like anger.
Fear feels like anger. Sadness feels like fear, which leads to anger. So it's a vicious circle of me being pissed off all the time. So, hey, Mika, I got you, girl. Um, but when we're able to just, even if we can just, at this moment, what am I feeling? I'm feeling contentment. I do. I feel contentment right now because I'm with you guys, right? My
Yeah, I
tribe.
mean, I was talking to my father, like I said yesterday, and he was like, "Well, Rodney, you just got to get over it. You got to forgive that." I said, "I'm good in my skin.
Mhm.
I'm good in my skin."
That's the key, isn't it? Being comfortable with ourselves when we're all alone. Wow,
That's a big
Because
thing.
that is a
usually,
big thing.
it's like trying to put fire out with gasoline with me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but when we're able to go in, just to see what am I feeling right now? Is it anxiety? Am I a little anxious? Right? Is something? What does that tell me? What does that feeling tell me? I need to pay attention. Right? When I'm able to go within myself with my feelings, I'm able to identify needs. Right? If I'm feeling lonely, my need is I need to be around people. If I'm feeling anxious, maybe my need is to be alone for a little while. Our emotions tell us what we need when we're paying attention to it, right? So to be able to get back in touch. It says, create a morning ritual. Create a morning ritual. We got some new messages. I said we got Nika in the house. Who else we got? Roberta's in the house. All right, Roberta's doing the deal. She's out there peer supporting. There you go. So create a morning ritual. Make time each morning before you begin your day to sit and tune in with ourselves. Even if we can find only 5 minutes, make it a regular practice to check in with ourselves each morning and spend time doing something that nourishes our soul. Doesn't that sound good? Just to check in every morning to do something. You might want to set an intention for the day, spend time in meditation, break out your journal, or repeat positive affirmations. We talked about those a lot, don't we?
yeah.
Whatever works for us. However much time we have, make it a daily practice to deepen our connectedness with ourselves. To be able to do something to set myself up for success. Does
My
that make sense?
ritual was broke this morning. I usually get up like 6:30 or something like that. Start by start getting like breakfast and stuff. And then I got some water, clean out all the pots and stuff like that. Heat some water, and then I start getting myself in order. Drinking coffee while I'm doing all this, smoking cigarettes. So this is my ritual that I go through. Now it was
Yeah.
disturbed this morning, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm looking. So I don't know where I look like. Anyway,
But we do have those morning things that we do. I'm very ritualistic in the morning. I do the exact same things all the time. Even and somehow it gets me focused. What do you do in the morning, Alan?
I make a delicious, nourishing breakfast.
Good deal. Makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? We start out fueled up. Physically is critical, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as well. Being able to do those things that bring us back to ourselves. Those affirmations, those meditations in the morning. Um, Holly says, I struggle with the insecurity brought by the large I'm sorry, brought in by the large life I feel pressured at times to appease. Um, it doesn't allow me to be me when pressed. Uh, Obviously, I can't read this morning, so Holly, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. Um, those things we do that bring us back to self are critical. And when I've got a morning routine that allows me to set myself up for success, to set myself up for knowing that I'm connected, for knowing that I'm with myself this morning, it does make a big difference. It does make a big difference. Become aware of our thoughts. Think about what you're thinking about. I don't do that often. All right, we get a million thoughts go through our heads all the time, just all the time. It says the things we focus on are the things that become our reality. So start becoming aware of our thoughts. Notice where fear or self criticism arise for us. Don't place any judgment on these thoughts, but consciously choose to let them go or reframe them into a new perspective. When we're able to do this, we're more equipped to manifest the things we truly desire. We believe that thoughts can manifest things, right? The more I think about something, the more I talk about something, the more I talk about something, the more likely it is I'm going to get something. Right?
That sounds a lot like I, I studied theology in high school,
Uh huh.
and that sounds a lot like Wicca and paganism.
Oh,
Like literally, so you speak it, so shall it be.
yes.
The more you say, the power that you give to it makes it manifest itself.
Well, I believe that we do have that power because the more I say I'm going to have a good day,
You have a good day.
you have a good day. The more I say, I'm really not feeling it today.
Yeah.
The more likely it is that I'm going to have that experience. So there are some. I don't. I manifest a new car. Poof. I don't see that happening because
Well,
my old car's still over there.
Yeah, but the more you say, I want a new car, I want a new car, I want a new car, the more likely you are to go get a new car.
To do things that
Yeah.
are leading me to that. Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
something else, or just new thinking. Be absolutely honest with myself because I have options, things to do during the week, mostly volunteer stuff, but some of it, if I do it, it bores the hell out of me. And I'm thinking, you can stop doing that. That find something else to do. Stop doing things. I mean, I need to be busy. I want to be busy and productive, and that's cool. But to do something that bores the hell out of me and
Yes.
is not satisfying, no, I can stop that. It's okay.
Because that's bringing me negative thoughts.
There you
If
go.
I'm bored, if I'm distressed, if I'm, all those things.
And then I get irritable.
Yes.
You got to find something that you enjoy, because then if you enjoy it, you love it, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's
what
right.
my grandfather always told me.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But when we're aware of our thoughts, think about what we're thinking about. I heard a gentleman say one time that every time you stop at a stoplight, think about what you're thinking about. Because I think about so many things all the time that I don't even know what I'm thinking about half the time. It just goes through so many thoughts, so many concepts. But when I take a moment and pay attention, am I thinking positive or negative? Am I thinking in a way that benefits me or in a way that doesn't benefit me? Right? Then I can pay attention. Then I can shift. Because if I've got thoughts, if I'm aware of thoughts that aren't helping me go deeper, if I have thoughts that's self-criticizing, you're not worthy, you're not whole, you're not, or you are, lazy, weird, whatever. We got to pay attention to what we're thinking, because that, as a man thinketh, right?
As a man thinketh, he does.
Yeah, that is true. As a man thinketh, he does. And that's what it comes out to be. Pay attention to what I'm thinking about, right? And I can replace, if I've got those thoughts that aren't benefiting me, I can pluck them out and replace them with something, just like breathing. Pay attention to what's going on. If it doesn't benefit you, let it go.
Yeah.
Just let it pass. It's okay. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to let it go.
You ever have a day when you just like not thinking and just reacted?
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like I walked this road before. I have noticed that there's a pothole over here. And then I noticed, so I'm not thinking it no more. I'm just going through the obstacle course of it. And not even looking where I'm going, but I'm traveling through purpose.
Yep.
And then it's like when I get ready to rest and lay down, I don't remember what I was doing today. Because you know what? I wasn't even looking. I
Yep.
was just reacting.
Yeah. All the people I talked to, all the things I did. What to at the end of the night, just like in a morning ritual, have a ritual at the end of the night. What did I do well today? What could I have done
That's
better?
a good habit. That's a good. At the end of the day, take stock and maybe express gratitude to the force, the power,
There you go.
whatever you believe in.
And if I'm thinking gratitude, I'm already going to be in a good mood. Right? Yes, Al.
I know, speaking earlier about, allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel and feeling it all, that, sometimes I've had it like Rodney was saying with going through the obstacle course, everything seems kind of just, how it is, so you don't even have to think about it. But I know with me, like I've had times where I've not allowed myself to feel something for so long that it puts my body in this state of, it feels like I'm in a dream. It feels like reality isn't real.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm in here, I see what's happening, I know that I'm doing what I'm doing, but it feels like at the same time I'm just watching what's happening in my life. So
That automatic response
yeah,
that we have.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like when we seen Dr. Pat. When you're seeing things and hearing things that's not there, Rodney, what is going on? How the fuck I know it's there? You remember that shit?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yes, I do. But when we take that moment to think about what we're thinking about, it makes for a choice. When I think about what I'm thinking about and realize that this benefits me or this doesn't benefit me, it costs me something or doesn't cost me, I'm able to choose that. I'm able to choose that. Holly says I can relate to that about thoughts. Sometimes my thoughts are not at all the problem. Most times it's my body talking poorly, remembering bad feelings that cause my body to react. Then my attention is turned away from the moment I might benefit to just sit and be with others and or myself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just to be with ourselves. When those thoughts arise, because they do, they arise in all of us. Those negative things, those doubts, that self-criticism. Shift. We can shift. We have the ability to make a choice to do something different. And that's one of the most beautiful things in recovery. We do have that choice to do something different. Okay, this next one's interesting. Move your body. See movement and exercise as a form of self-love instead of a chore. Highly unlikely. Listen to what your body needs and what your body needs, and flow with it rather than forcing yourself to do something that feels like a chore. Going for a walk, walking my dog would be a good thing. Walk in nature, dance around the kitchen, go to a class, hit your yoga mat, whatever it is. Choose to do what feels expansive and freeing to our body. Really feel what it's like to move and stretch our bodies, anchoring into any sensations that come up for us. Movement can reconnect us, right? Um, when I came into recovery, it was all up here: knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. I needed to learn about things. And then I needed to learn how I was feeling to go deeper. Now I'm reconnecting to my body, which is important too, because a lot of times that's the last thing that we connect to, the body. And when we begin to move, when we begin to do some form of exercise, whatever it is, even the smallest thing. You know, I had a physical therapist one time who goes, how far do you run? And I said, to the refrigerator and back. He didn't think that was fun. So, but move your body. Move your body, it helps. It helps us get into it. And this is what Alan was talking about earlier. Do more of what makes you happy. Do more of what makes you happy. What really makes your heart sing? What lights you up? Maybe it's painting or getting creative. Perhaps you love preparing and nurturing meals. Poetry, good.
Spontaneous poetry.
Nice. Whatever you love to do it more often. Where you can, make room for your schedule for these activities. What can you drop from your to-do list to add something that actually brings us joy? Right? Do what feeds us. Because when I feed myself, I'm less hungry. You know, like it said in the beginning, we look for these things outside of ourselves, when truly what we need is within. That connectedness to self, that the things that are fun for us. Do something that is fun today. All right? Just one thing that you consider fun, and it'll make all the difference in the world. All right? What do you consider? What are you going to do that's fun today, Alan?
That's fun?
Yes. Spend time with me. It was an obvious one, but whatever, Alan. No, it's kidding me.
That's
It's so true, though, isn't it? Spending time
I
together.
know maybe it sounds weird. Go to Aldi and get some really delicious food for half the price that I paid
There you
Food
go.
Lion, like bagels, gluten-free bagels.
And I know they make you very happy, don't they, Alan?
Yes.
That's doing things that make us happy. Makes all the difference in the world.
One of my favorite things that I used to do, which is totally off the wall for, I feel like for a 23-year-old now, I got to get used to saying that now. When I had my little station wagon, I used to ride around when it was beautiful like this, and I would ride around and put on a 1950s playlist.
Oh, wow.
And just have all the windows down, blaring 1950s music. And it always made me just so happy because I could feel the wind in the air and it was fresh. And, you know, it was all music that they were talking about their lives, their loved ones, their family, their lovers, everything.
Just washing over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. Music is real important to me too. Most definitely. Most definitely.
That's a challenging question. What can I do today to make me happy? You know, that's very challenging. I need to think on that. I like what you.
Yeah.
That was great. I mean, I could do the same in my car.
Yeah.
It's got a DVD player built in, and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you ever listen to 95.7
Oh yeah.
Ride?
Yeah.
I love that station. That goes back to what, the 70s?
The
Yeah.
60s. Yeah.
60s and
60s.
70s, yeah.
I love
Taking
it.
us back to music that speaks to us.
That I
Yes.
think that is can be a uplifting. That's
Yeah, absolutely. Music is
even better than
powerful.
buying gluten-free bagels.
I don't know about that, because you got to have a bagel.
Well, I can do both.
You can do both. You can listen to music while you eat a bagel. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
We
could-
got one more here. We got one more that Gemma Sands did with this article. It's smile. Start each day by greeting yourself in the mirror. Take time to connect by looking into our eyes, smile at ourselves, and feel our vibration rise. We could even speak a positive affirmation or mantra out loud to ourselves in the mirror, acknowledging our own presence before we go out and about in our day.
Now I started doing it a couple of months ago. I got a beautifully framed little mirror, and I put it up on the wall right above the breakfast table. And then I haven't done this for a couple of weeks, but then I would look in, I'd smile, and the smile would be so genuine, and I'd wink and I'd appreciate myself.
Yes.
But now I'm going to start again, say a few words just of my value, how I appreciate myself.
A smile for ourselves in the morning,
And
just for us.
It's genuine. There's nothing phony about it.
No.
I don't want to smile. It's genuine.
Yes. Good deal. So a smile can start our day off really positive. Really positive. And I've got one for you, Ken. Laughter.
Yes.
Kenny has the best laugh in the world. I love Kenny's laugh.
I
So I
know.
love to make Kenny laugh. But that laughter that we find in ourselves and in other people can really lift us spiritually, mentally, emotionally. So we got some things to do, some things we can do to tap into ourselves today, some things we can do that can help us know ourselves better. All right, we're about out of time. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank my friends out there in chat land, and I want to thank my dear friends here. We will see you next week, Tuesday at 10 for Recovery 201.